Are you a developer using AI in your applications or wondering how to get started? Learn about all the different options today and how Azure SQL Database is here to support. This week on Data Exposed. Hi, I'm Anna Hoffman, and welcome to this episode of Data Exposed. Today we have a super exciting episode planned. I'm joined by Mazma, the leader of AI and developer efforts from the PM side for SQL. Mazma, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Anna. I'm really super excited to be here.
We are super excited to have you here. I mean, this combo of developer and AI is so important, and people are so excited about it. But I want to hear, from a data side, what do you think about that?
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, so data is the fuel for AI. So you can't have AI without really good data. And guess what? Where is this data sitting in? It's sitting in databases. I'm really excited to talk about what we are doing from Azure SQL database perspective when it comes to AI-ready applications.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we're excited to hear all about it. I think maybe just some level setting, what's the current state of things for AI in the developer space?
Thanks, Anna. So the AI developer platform currently has so many options. So developers who are building AI-ready applications, they have options. That is a good thing. So let's talk about what that means, right? So starting from your hardware layer, we have Azure. In this case, we have the GPUs of the world and all of the capacity that you need and infrastructure that you need. Then the most important layer, which is data. So how do you store this data? Vector databases. How do you use vector embeddings? That's the concept. We are going to show a quick demo on that as well. Then there are a bunch of AI services. So in Azure, for example, the Azure AI Search. So again, the demo that I'm going to show you will show how you can use data stored in Azure SQL database directly with Azure AI Search and can build an AI application with that. The choice of models is a good one, right? So we want the flexibility for our customers to bring in their own models or use Azure OpenAI, or they can actually download a model, maybe a small language model, and run with that as well. So we have options. And last but not least, the AI developer ecosystem is also growing. So thinking about machine learning, prompt flow, Studio, Azure AI Studio, Azure OpenAI Studio, those are the options that you have today.
Awesome. Well, do you want to show us anything, or how does this relate to SQL?
Yeah, so in terms of when it comes to Azure SQL Database and AI, we have these options that are available for you today. So you can go to SQL AI, AKMS.SQL AI, or AKMS SQL AI samples. You can actually go ahead and use the SQL data currently stored in your SQL databases on Azure AI Search and run with Azure OpenAI. We have an SP invoke REST endpoint, a stored procedure that you can call directly from Azure SQL database and access any external REST endpoint. So in this case, you can call OpenAI, Azure OpenAI to do embeddings or anything that you want to do from that model perspective. And then we have some great examples with prompt flow and Copilot as well. So there's a lot coming in this space. Let's see this in action. So would like to show you an example of how you can bring, let's say if you have a product database, you have a product metadata, the categories of the product, and then some of the examples of that particular product, for example, a listing of products in particular category, and some reviews that are stored in a database. So I'm going to use an example data set. And what you can do is you can currently index that data in Azure AI Search. There's a concept of data source. When you go to data source, you can connect your Azure database directly to it. On top of that, you can actually create two things. One is called an index, and the other is called an indexer. So you basically index the data stored in Azure SQL database directly in Azure AI Search or Azure Cognitive Services. Azure Cognitive Services or Azure AI Search takes care of how does that data get into the service. It does the chunking, it does the vectorization for you, and finally it gives you a chat playground to play around. So let's say if you want to build a chat application on that data, it's very easy to do. All of this is actually in this blog that you can go to and get more information about how you can do, and I'll show you a quick demo for that. How does that sound?
It sounds awesome. I mean, especially this retail scenario you're talking about, it almost feels like table stakes. If you have a website, you have to have some sort of chat to connect to and talk to about it. So it seems like a great way to easily use AI and get started. Let's take a look.
Yeah. So I'm going to try a live demo. So let's see how that goes. In this case, I am connected to Azure OpenAI Studio. My product data has been indexed. I'm using Azure AI Search in the background, so that has been done. You can again go to the blog, follow the step-by-step process of how to do it by yourself. Once the data has been connected, now you can use change tracking or change data capture feature in Azure SQL database to keep this index up to date as well. So that's an amazing, great feature that comes with it by default. Now that it is connected, this is my chat playground. Let's ask a question about living room. What are some of the products that I can use for living room decor? So in this case, it's going to go look at your index, look at the data. It will come up with some of the suggestions, and here we have it. It's starting to provide some options of some of the examples, such as wall stickers. Maybe that's a good option. It also provides you at the end the references, and those references are actually the citations to your data points. So for example, in this case, this one is data that I have directly in stored in this. So you can find the exact product ID, and this is coming from a source, so we can actually go and see if this is even available. It seems like there's a wall decal that's available as well that I can buy.
Nice. Looks like you've not only shown us something cool, but found some new art for your house.
For sure.
Awesome. This is super cool. Like, I had no idea. How easy was it for you to set this up?
This end-to-end took me maybe 15 to 20 minutes, not more than that. Once you have your data source and you understand the data, so it's more work to actually make sure your data lands in the database correctly. Then creating the index, making sure you're using the right column, how you actually create the indexer, which is how often you want to get this index to stay up to date. And then just go into this chat playground and play around with it. And I want to mention that this playground is just for you to dev and test, right? So once it's available, you can make it, once you're happy with this, right, you can make it available for your end users, your business users really actually make the most use of this data. So what you have to do is basically go in here, deploy it. You have two options. You can create a new web app, or you can even put it as part of your Copilot studio. So you can create your own Copilot with this data set that you just indexed.
Wow, cool. That's super awesome and amazing how quickly you were able to get it all done end to end. Miasma, I have an important question, a question a lot of folks ask us when it comes to these copilots and AI services that Microsoft is doing, and especially Azure SQL Database might do. Like, what is your thoughts or response to the concern that a lot of people have? Like, hey, I don't want to send my personal data, or I don't want to send my company data to these models to be trained and then used by the model for something else. I don't want that data exposure or risk, especially when it comes to sensitive data, which is a lot of internal company data. Like, what's Microsoft's stance there?
Very good question. I'm glad that you've asked that. So Microsoft has a very clear responsible AI principle. So that means that your data will not be used for any training or fine-tuning of any of these foundational models. So we use this pattern called RAG, Retrieval Augmentation Generation. And then what that means is your data is actually used to provide more information to the LLMs, or in future, maybe SLMs or other models as well. It's not used to actually do any fine-tuning, anything like that. And all of your data and security is set up by you. So it stays within the Azure compliance and security boundary that Microsoft is known for. And it's never used for any of these AI processing, AI fine-tuning as well. So it's very important. I know it's top of mind. And every AI product that we are shipping, we have to go through an internal ethics and AI board to make sure that we comply with the transparency, accuracy, and all the trustworthiness that AI products are putting up together.
Awesome. Cool. That makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure people will feel a lot better knowing that, especially being the leader in this space for our team. All the responsible AI things that the team goes through. So it's really great to have you on and really believing that, and also showing us all these cool new things. So Miasma, I just want to thank you for coming on the show. I put the links back on the screen for you all. They'll also be in the description if you want to go learn more, play with these samples, try out the example that Miasma showed us today. Leave us a comment and let us know what you think. And we hope to see you next time on Data Exposed.